Hi, this is take 4. I keep getting interrupted, but anyway, I'm giving you my sourdough method. This is the sourdough I learned from I Love Cooking Ireland, and I eventually figured out I needed to increase the water. So first you're gonna need 1 bottle of water, which in America is 500 milliliters, which is equivalent to 500 grams. And then you need 800 grams of this. Bread flour, organic. Do not buy anything that isn't from King Arthur or from, I think the other brand is like Bob's Red Mill. Unless you're milling your own flour from bulk wheat berries. Like those 2 brands are good because they don't have folic acid in them, and you don't want that. Folic acid is toxic. You don't want that at all. This is real salt. I use 10 grams. And then sourdough starter. Right now it's covered because I don't want it all over my counter, but 320 grams of sourdough starter. And then you're going to need cast iron with lids and a mixer and a scale. And I just do this. I have somewhat of an old mixer and it kind of is loose, so if I let go after I've started mixing, it'll do this. So instead I just stand here and like hold it down for a minute or 2 like this on the lowest. This only starts to happen once the dough is almost done, so I don't have to do this the whole time. But it takes a while for the dough to be properly kneaded. And if I was doing this by hand, it would take about 30 minutes of hand kneading, which is why I stopped hand kneading and I started using my mixer. Because I used to hand knead dough and it would take me like so long. I would be so sore and then I'd have my hands all dirty, and if one of my kids was like crying or something and needed me, I couldn't help them because I had dough all over me. The other thing you can do is order these on Amazon. These are special, well, it's got some dough stuck to the bottom of it for some reason, but I'll pull that off. These are dough kneading gloves, and other than the dough that's stuck to them right now, this has never happened before. I don't know who put that in there, but anyway. I think it was just flour that got stuck to the bottom of this cup, but anyway, pretend that's not there. You can get dough kneading gloves, and it will keep the dough off of your fingers. Jack, I'm making a video. Be quiet. So I'm going to let the dough fall off the blade, and then eventually when it's ready, I'll put it in a new
Mommy, look at this.
bowl.
Mommy, look, it has air in it.
I don't know. I'm making a video, Jack. So the first knead, after you've kneaded it, you put it in a bowl and cover it in saran wrap, and then let it sit out on the counter in a warm spot for 7 hours minimum. And then depending on how much bread you're making, you can just I like to divide mine the next day, but you could also divide it that night and put it in your bowl, separate it, and then you've got your dough ball ready for whenever you put it in the oven. So you get your cast iron and you preheat it in the oven at the highest temperature that you have, which on here is just a little over 500. So once it's preheated, and you preheat it with the lid on, you want to put on the bottom, that's still a little warm, a roasting pan with water, and then leave the lid on while you're preheating, and that will create like a steam environment in the pan. So you put your dough balls in the pan when they're preheated, and then you take a razor blade and put some dough markings on the top that will help it rise, and then cover it and put it in the oven. So it's half an hour at 500, and then after half an hour you lower the temperature to 375. Just a minute. I'll do another half hour with the lid off. And then once you're done, you put it here somewhere where it can cool down for like 3 hours. And then after at least 3 hours are gone, it's okay to slice it or wrap it loosely to keep it covered. And I use parchment paper and saran wrap when I'm selling bread. So you just wrap the bread with a parchment, but you leave like a hole in the top so that it doesn't get moisture in there. And I'll put the link to the recipe down below.